Alright folks, so here we are with RPG Maker VX Ace, and the idea here on this tutorial is to introduce you to how you would bring enemies into the picture. So under tools we go to our friend the database, and we were working with actors, we've worked with terms, we've worked with the system, we've worked with tile sets, tile sets. We've taken a quick look at classes, but we were working on actors when we did that. And now we're going to look at two other tabs here. One is enemies and one is troops. So enemies are the types of enemies you can have. And we'll walk through the types of enemies you can have here in a minute in this screen. And troops are how you engage your enemies into a battle scene. So you don't set up any battles from this enemies tab. What you do with the enemies tab is you basically set the settings for each enemy in your game is set in here, just like I guess kind of just like how your actor is a class, he's a soldier, while your troops are enemies. And your troops are what does battle, and your enemies have certain characteristics. I guess that's the best way to explain it. So let's stick on the enemies tab for this first part of this. And you can see we've got 30 different enemies. And there's like a slime enemy. You know, go in here and take a look at these different. And what you'll see here is you've got the general settings for it, and you have they can drop items. So like, you know, like for example, let's see what you can drop. Oh, very cool. So, you know, when they're doing battle, you could have your characters drop. I'm gonna get out of that part. Go none here, and the probability, I guess, is how often it'll. I guess we've got to drop an item first. Yeah, okay. And then you can set up the probability 1 in 1 chance of it dropping something. And it looks like it can drop an item, a weapon, or armor. That's very cool. So yeah, very neat. So we'll just stick with items here for a minute, just so we can look at this. So what this is 1 in 1 chance. So every time he's gonna drop, he'll drop something. But like if you wanted that probability to go lower, like 1 in 20 times, he might drop something. Like it's more realistic if he just drops something all the time, right? I don't think you want to go too high because, you know, I don't know what this maxes out at. So I'm just gonna go back down to 1 for now. In any event, that's where that would be, and I'll say none here because we're not going to drop anything because that's really not what we're doing here. Here's your rewards. You get experience points, and you can adjust that. You can adjust the amount of gold if you wanted to. There's action patterns for the character, and he's always going to attack. He's always going to give the paralyzed stare. That's interesting. And confusion song. Always, that's kind of wild, eh? Anyways, you definitely need to poke around in here and see what each of these enemies is up to for their different skill sets and features. And once you've chosen what kind of enemies you want, then you can go into troops. And you can, looks like you can create 30 troops too. So troops, yeah, very cool. And we'll talk about this. We'll talk about troops in another video. This is 4 minutes long. And we might touch back on enemies as we're working with troops. But I just wanted you to be familiar with this is how you would introduce your enemies, is through the enemies and troops. And to do battle, you have to have your enemies in a troop. So enemies is kind of like, I'm going to say kind of like class. It's probably not the right thing to say. And troops is kind of like, okay, there's your actual enemy. And it looks like in here we're going to be able to specify how those troops are encountered. So anyways, I'm just going to come out of here and end this video.